Before I jump into this video, can we just acknowledge this sunset? It's absolutely stunningly gorgeous. Anyway, hello, welcome back to another video. In this video, we're gonna talk about just taking the how to become exceptional at what we do and how to become exceptional irreplaceable service provider choo-choo train is going. And in this video, I want to give you another fabulous example of a service provider I had the chance to visit, and we're gonna untangle this case study a little bit, and we're gonna extract what would have made this experience better because it wasn't a good experience. So if you don't know me, I do pole dance because it makes me feel better about myself. Plus, it's very difficult and it built a lot of my muscles, especially around my back. I had a really bad hunchy back posture before. So pole dance really helped me, but it came with its own territory, meaning that when I do pole dance, there's a lot of strain on my neck. So I was starting to develop some neck pain. So because I was starting to develop this neck pain, I went to some chiropractors and like physical therapists to make sure that we do something about my neck because it was giving me a lot of pain. Even when I was sitting like in this position, I would still feel a strain in my neck. And even though I knew that I could take some time off from training, I also knew that I had an incident in which I actually pulled something in my neck and that was causing the issue, but it just takes a long time to heal. Anyway, so I go see this chiropractor, and this guy was recommended by one of the pole girlies I was going to private class with. She was like, "Sheaf, this guy fixed my pain. He can fix yours. You should go." So I book the next day and I go see this guy. And when I get into his office, he was really nice. Like he was really kind. He made me sit down. He was like, "Do you want some water or tea? Like whatever beverage you want. Take your time. Go to the toilet if you go to the bathroom if you want, and then let's get started." So far, great experience. Everything is going really well. And he starts to ask me some questions about my body, my neck, my all of that. Like how did it happen? Like how do you feel? Like what's going on? And as we were talking, what ends up happening is that I find myself zoning out throughout his presentation because he gives me the most unnecessary details that I've ever heard in my life. So he was asking me, "Hey, like, have you ever had any type of car accidents that you were getting into?" And I said, "Yes, I actually did once. I hurt my knee. It's all good now. I think I'm fine. All well healed. It's fine. It didn't break. It was just bruised." And he said, "No, no, no. I mean, you can't just minimalize this because there is a study that talks about how when pregnant ladies give birth and the doctor's pushing the belly, it's going to give some bone pain issues to the baby when they are grown up." And I'm like, "Okay, well, thank you for that side story. That's amazing. Can we just and he goes on a tangent over and over and trying to explain to me how brains work and like we are at neuroscience, and I find myself just sitting and just seeing him speak. Like the words are coming out of his mouth, but I'm no longer clocking what he's saying. And mind you, I'm a curious person. I love to learn about everything and everything all the time. Like open-minded. I'm curious, I'm open-minded, but we're sitting here and he's really off topic and like really on a tangent, and we are getting into like neuroscience territories and nutrition. And I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, this is like great, but like I have a neck pain. Like I'm trying to stir him back to like, okay, like what do we do about this? Like gently, not like an asshole. And what's end up happening is he keeps talking. So when I'm gently signaling that, let's just, sorry, Mike, I'm hitting my mic. Let's just go back to talk about the topic that we are here for. He's always like going on tangent. I'm finding myself zoning out. And I'm signaling it to him, zoning out. Like, that's what's happening. And it's been an hour that we are just having this conversation. Like, so far, no treatment, nothing happened, just a conversation. And as much as I love me some conversations, I know my partner is waiting for me in a waiting room, boring himself to death. And still, there's no solution to my problem. I learned so much about neuroscience and nutrition, and, that I just feel a little bit like my patience is, I am very patient usually, somewhat patient, but my patience is running to its end. We are hitting the wall of my patience, and time is, and so far I'm still in pain. Like, why am I paying for here? And so I try to be a bit more assertive in that, like, we need to, and he, finally, okay, let just sit you down. And then he does some things with my neck, like, I don't know, some just pushing some certain points in my neck and trying to break my back, but cracking it or so. I don't know what he's doing. But as he's doing it, he non-stops talking. Like, at this point, I'm like, okay, this is a chatty guy, all good. But then he starts to talk about, he asks me about my diet and exercise. I'm like, yeah, I'm exercising, diet is fine. Is that I eat bananas all night. Not all night, but I have one banana and I have to get up 5 a.m. to have a bite and then fall back to sleep, and maybe 7, another bite. And sometimes I finish my whole banana. Sometimes it's just 1 or 2 bites. But I tell him this because if you ask me about nutrition, why not share this information, even though I think it's completely irrelevant to the neck pain? And boy, did I unleash a beast. So he really gets worked up, proper worked up. And he tells me that I'm gonna die from stomach cancer because I eat bananas at night. And he really is he's very much he's triggered. He's proper triggered. And I'm like, okay, thank you so much for that. Thank you. Yeah, thanks. And I'm like, yeah, I think I'm okay. Thank you so much. Thanks for the concerns, but I'm fine. It's just it's my body. And he's not having it. He is just turning it up. He's really he's not letting it go, and he's like, how many people they get cancer. You need to let your stomach rest. My stomach is resting. It's 5 a.m. when I wake up. It's just one bite that I eat. I can't go back to sleep. I'm finding myself explaining my nutritious choices when I have a neck pain that is coming from my workout. And I'm like, okay, maybe posture at worst, it's just we're entering into a territory that just I don't want to go enter. And he's very triggered. He's and I'm telling him, at this point, I'm I'm getting triggered because I'm you're not listening to me. This conversation is over. I already said what I said. You said what you said, and let's just leave it at that. Let's not try to convince each other. And he's not getting it. And I'm looking at the wall. I'm looking at the wall and just breathing deeply, because I'm not the explosive type. I'm not really. It's just that I feel we are really venturing into territories where we shouldn't be. And I'm sure you guys have felt it when you are coming for something and someone is completely off and trying to convince you, that convincing energy, and you're really not having it, but they don't get that you're not having it. So I'm looking at the wall and I'm okay, I feel myself I'm leaving my body, disassociating, I'm not there anymore. I have to listen through this thing because this guy doesn't get it. And at the end, he did some things. I'm like, okay, here you go. Here's the money, never coming back to you. But that experience, like, and again, let's just untangle that from a service provider's perspective, because there's just so much to like untangle there. One of the first things that I've noticed is that there was this over information happening. So when we are service providers and we really want to come off as like, I know this is great. Like, don't you think I'm great? Like, I know so much. Like, there's so much information. Like, I know so much. Like, even the brain, like, I know everything. Even though I'm a chiropractor, but whatever, I know the brain. Like, I know everything about everything. So when we are not grounded, and that isn't that funny? But when we are not grounded in our expertise, we tend to overdo it, overinform, and overwhelm the person that we are sitting like in front of. In this case, it was me. But when we are just like not like we really want to overcompensate our knowledge instead of just, I know what I know, and I know that you don't need all the information. So I'm gonna just tell you what you need to know. So when we are grounded, we don't have to over explain. We just say what's relevant to the client that is facing in front of us. We don't have to go on a tangent about the brain or nutrition, right? Or especially if our client is signaling or zoning out and we're not reading the room, okay? So the second thing is your ability to listen. So when we are in face of a client, what we usually do is listen. So what I like to do, and I think that makes me a really good service provider, is I have the ability to listen so that I am in complete observation mode. I don't have to over explain or like me speaking. I just have to know enough information to listen so that I can know what would be my suggestion. And every single time I'm giving a suggestion is always based on observation and collected information. So in this scenario, what would have been the highest level of service providership for this guy to lean back, be grounded in his expertise and just listen. Grab her pen and just take notes. And just, if I have questions, he can answer, and that would be the third one. But answering in a way that's relevant to the question. One of the measures of measuring your intelligence, so to say, is, are you able to answer the question that someone is asking from you? Or are you going on a tangent and go around it before you even, and then what was the question again? You know, that's intelligence level. That's like excellence in like, I'm able to listen, think, observe, and then say what I need to say that is relevant to you. And I'll talk about how when pregnant ladies like delivering babies and the doctor is pushing their belly, like that's a great fun fact. That's amazing, but how is that relevant to my neck pain right now? Like we are completely off, right? Another thing is like fourth one is respect of time. So I love how service providers, we want to make sure that we really maximize the time together. But sometimes the solution is instantaneous. Like sometimes there are reps and questions that come to me where I already know the solution. Like in 5 minutes, I can tell you the solution, or you want me to ramble for an hour. There's a difference. When we are on higher level, we don't feel like we need to fill in the hour when we already know that I can give you a solution in 5 minutes. And thank you so much. Goodbye. Good luck. So there isn't that need to overcompensate, that overshare, to feel that like I just want to give you the solution that you need at this moment. So that's another super amazing trait of exceptional, irreplaceable service provider, is the ability to just give them what they need and not like ramble on for an hour to really feel like this is gonna be a 2-hour consultation. Like I didn't need to be there. My partner was like sleeping almost Like he really thought about like just sleeping because he was so bored. It was such a long-winded consultation that didn't have to be that way. Another thing is expertise. So when I'm going to a chiropractor, there is a preconceived notion, like there is an expectation for me that I'm going for chiropractors. I'm going to have like, I'm gonna give him the confidence. Like it's almost like he is being recommended by someone for chiropractic purposes. And when I go to this person, I also know that I give him this vote of confidence. I checked his website, I checked testimonials. Like I already kind of like, you are an expert. I'm gonna give that to him, like presumably even before I meet him. So he has that, he's kind of earned it, even though he wasn't really doing anything to earn it, but because of the social proof and the recommendation, like you have it, it's yours. But when someone is going off a tangent on a topic that is completely unrelated to their expertise, like nutrition or cancer research, that the thing is, the nutrition thing that wasn't in the voted confidence list of things I voted him confidence for. I didn't go to a nutritionist, I went to a chiropractor. So it's very important for us when we are providing services, and we are multi-passionate, and we might have other expertise, like we know relationships very well. Like let me tell you about, like, when someone comes for us for a specific service, in my case, I'm a marketing director, I'm a CMO, I'm helping grow businesses online. And someone comes to me with a marketing issue, like, can you help me fix this issue? And I tell him that it's really his psychological issue, that it's a childhood trauma. Like it seems like an attachment style type of problem. That person would be like, huh? Like I just said, hey, can you help me with my marketing? And no, I didn't come for psychology therapy session about my attachment style. Like, thank you so much. Like if that was something I would come for, then I would be telling you that, not this, right? So when we are outside of our sphere of expertise, and sometimes we tend to be like, oh well, I think this issue, like really that's great, but you know what, can you just help me fix my marketing problems? So immediately a client that is almost like ambushed with like a completely different field, that they were not only not giving you the expertise hat, like they're not voting you the expertise, they didn't see you, demonstrate that type of expertise. It feels like off-brand, and it gets them confused, surprised, but not in a good way. So what we need to learn is, how can I respond within my field of expertise to the person? And obviously, if you feel like, okay, but that really is an attachment style issue, off the record, you can always suggest lightly and be like, hey, you know what? It's not of my expertise to tell you this, but this might be something you want to, just look into if you want to. Don't have to. It's not, but maybe it will help. That could be something you say, like the lightest hint. But again, if you are not building a reputation, or if your body of work is not built around that field of expertise, and some clients come to you for marketing, you won't tell them about their childhood issues, right? So it's, again, the ability to stay in the realms of your work that is relevant to the client, and not try to force feed them your ideology that you're so passionate about because you think that's all connected too, but it comes off as not very genuine. Like, you don't, to me, I believe that he knows it, but I just don't care. Like it literally, like when we are faced with people, like the client's brain is like blocking. It's literally like blocking the information from entering to their brains. So even though you might know, and it might be good, and it might be amazing, unless you build that authority around, and they also recognize you as an authority, it's gonna be really hard for that information to enter your brain. Okay. And the final thing to analyze this entire situation is that really this entire thing was just a one-sided monologue. Like, I find myself sitting and just listening to word vomits for almost 2 hours. It wasn't like a question answer type of scenario. It was more like a, I'm here for this, and I got spoken over, one-sided monologuing for almost 2 hours. So I really felt like this person did not really take time to understand me. And what most clients want to feel is heard, understood, that you understand their situation, you understand their circumstances, and then you're able to react to that. And when we are over talking and it's just a one-sided monologue, even though it feels good to get it out of your system, it's going to leave your client feeling like confused, angry, just unheard. So let's make sure we don't do that, okay? And the way we can do that is to not want to dominate the conversation. And this might be a very unconventional way to think about it, because we are taught in sales to control the conversation, have psychological control, get the control, and dominate. But to me, when someone is coming to you already, like you're not selling them, but someone is coming to you for an actual session and you're consulting and you're like in the trenches of the client, at this point, they are already sold. They are sitting in your chair. You don't have to oversell them. You don't have to dominate them. What you have to be able to do is actually lean back and just be listening, Like, I don't want to dominate you. I don't want to control you. I literally just want to get all the information to serve you to the best of my abilities. I'm literally in the service provider position. I am the providing service to you. And I can't provide you service unless I zip my mouth and I listen and I don't try to be controlling you. So releasing control at this scenario is just so important. And again, the more confident you get, the less you need to speak. And the more grounded you get, the less you need to prove that you know what you know. And the more you can be answering to the questions or answering to whoever is in front of you in the most relevant way that they need, and serve them the best of your abilities. I hope this made sense. I know this was a little bit of a crazy story, but I have so many because I've been observing and sponging and experiencing on my own skin. And I really want to change the way we are serving our clientele. Okay? So I will be launching a program called Human to Human, the art of becoming irreplaceable service providers in any organization. And I really want to bring this mindset piece home. This program is going to be helping you guys to really become that, really embody that service provider that is truly irreplaceable, where it's a win-win situation, where no one is pushing no one. There is this understanding, there is this constant need, but not on a need of like codependency. There is just so much balance in leading this way and working with people this way that I feel like this conversation should continue. So I will be talking more about the Human to Human program. It's going to be probably an 8-week program. I don't know yet, like around 2 months program. Weekly module is going to come out and I'm going to tell you all about the details. But if you're already like thinking about this, like, this might be something I want to go further into, don't worry. I'll give you all the details later. Just like for now, I'm just going to leave you with the program that it's coming. But you just need to know it's coming. It's coming. I want to treat this topic. I want to bring this topic home, and I really want us to be collectively rising as exceptional, irreplaceable service providers that we can really blow our clients' mind in the most grounded, not super loud, confident but not overconfident, super balanced way. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for watching and listening to this one. I'll see you guys next time.